Unity Station rotated with the steady indifference of a machine that had witnessed 40 years of war, 12 peace attempts, and thousands of exhausted diplomats pretending to trust each other. Marcus Hale no longer noticed the rotation. After 16 months working in the station's environmental tunnels, gravity shifts, day cycles, and sleep schedules had all merged into a single blur of humming conduits and half-functional regulators. Section 7K was the worst of them. A hybrid junction where human engineering, sturdy, square, always expecting failure, met Avari engineering, fluid, elegant, built as if the universe itself bent to intention. It was a masterpiece of cooperation only if you'd never actually tried to maintain it. Marcus slid deeper under a tangle of conduits, tools clinking against metal. "This system is insane," he muttered to nobody but the air processors. "Humans build everything like we're preparing for battle damage. Avari build everything like it should be placed in a museum and worshipped. Combine them and you get this, a disaster with good lighting." He tightened a coupling. The conduit hummed with that soft, harmonic vibration Avari tech always had, like it was singing a note too quiet to fully hear. "And of course," he continued, "their engineering is better, more efficient, more graceful. Even the errors are graceful. I hate that it's true." He didn't hear footsteps behind him. He didn't sense movement. He was too deep in muttered self-therapy to notice anything. So when a voice spoke, soft and melodic, he nearly slammed his head into the bulkhead. I did not expect a human to admit that so openly. Marcus froze. Slowly, he slid out from beneath the conduit. And there she was, Princess Lysithea Varin of the Avari Conquered. He had seen her twice from a distance during diplomatic briefings, but they had not prepared him for this. Avari were known for their beauty, but she was something else entirely. Tall, with luminous pearl-white skin that seemed to hold faint starlight under its surface. Silvery hair that flowed like liquid metal. Eyes glowing with soft violet bioluminescence, patterned with shifting geometric flecks. Every movement she made had that impossible Avari grace, like she existed in slightly thinner gravity than everyone else. And right now she was standing 10 feet away, watching him with an expression halfway between amusement and something far more unreadable. Marcus swallowed. "Princess, Lysithea, I didn't know anyone was here. I was just talking to myself." "I know." She stepped closer, hands clasped behind her back, posture precise and impossibly elegant. "That is why your words carry weight." "Wait." "In Avari culture," she said softly, "words spoken in solitude reveal true thought. They are unshaped, unmasked. They show who you are when performance is gone." Marcus felt his stomach drop. "So you heard everything." "I heard everything," she repeated. "Your frustration, your technical assessments, your doubts about whether your people deserve peace, your admiration for our designs." Her eyes warmed slightly, "Even the part about how you noticed me." Marcus's face flushed instantly. I didn't mean." "You said," she recited gently, "she moves like she belongs in this station more than any of us." Her lips curved. "A compliment, I believe." He wanted to crawl back under the conduits and die there. "Look," Marcus said, rubbing his face. "I was tired, frustrated, thinking out loud. Please don't take any of that as official commentary." Lysithea exhaled, a sound almost like a chord of distant bells. "You misunderstand, Marcus Hale. What you said does not offend me." She took another step closer. "It binds me." "Binds you." Her luminous eyes studied him with unnerving intensity, like she was listening to the vibration of his thoughts through his skin. "There is a cultural protocol among my people," she said, "a sacred one. When an Avari hears truth spoken unknowingly, truth not meant for an audience, we must acknowledge it. To remain silent is to deny reality." Marcus blinked. "Okay, so you acknowledged it. Does that mean anything else?" "It means," she said, voice suddenly formal, "that I invoked the right of resonant listening." He stared. "The what?" "It is ancient, older than our diplomacy with humans. When invoked, it declares that the speaker of those unguarded truths holds a kind of honored witness position, a place in the listener's clan." "In your clan," Marcus choked, "I was literally just insulting a pipe." "And praising our engineering, and revealing doubt without malice, and noticing me without intent." Her expression softened. "These things matter. They reveal sincerity, essence, resonance." Marcus felt faint. "What does this right do exactly?" "It names you," she said gently, "as a truth-bound witness to my house." "In human terms," she added, It is something between political kinship and an early, incomplete form. For the first time since arriving on Unity Station, Marcus Hale couldn't hear the low hum of the environmental conduits. His heartbeat drowned everything else out. Princess Lysithea Varin stood before him with the poised calm of someone who had just dropped a star into his quiet, engineer-sized world. "You invoked a right," Marcus repeated numbly. "Yes." Her glowing violet eyes softened. "The right of resonant listening. It is not done lightly. Is it reversible?" "No." He sat down on the nearest crate. It groaned. He did too. Lysithea watched him carefully, hands folded with ritualistic precision. "I understand this is overwhelming." "Overwhelming?" Marcus laughed nervously. "I thought I was alone. I was complaining about pipes. Now apparently I'm, what did you call it, truth-bound to your house." "To House Varin, yes." "What? Royal House Varin," Marcus corrected weakly. "You're a princess." Her expression flickered, somewhere between amusement and sympathy. "Titles matter less than resonance," she said. "In my culture, what you revealed without intention is more meaningful than what some reveal through years of political performance." Marcus buried his face in his hands. "So what happens now? Do I need to bow, fill out paperwork? Renounce my species, start wearing glowing robes?" Lysithea's laugh was soft, melodic, like a chime struck underwater. "No, but you will need to meet with your ambassador, and mine." Marcus looked up sharply. "You told them already." "What? The moment the right was invoked," she said. "It automatically notifies both delegations. Protocol demands it." His stomach dropped. "As we speak," she continued, "your leaders and ours are likely drafting emergency statements about what this means." "What?" Marcus groaned. "They're going to kill me." "No," Lysithea said gently, "but they will be very curious." Her proximity suddenly felt much closer, the air between them charged with something he didn't have words for. "Marcus Hale," she said softly, "this is not a punishment. In Avari society, resonance bonds are sacred. They are rooted in truth. You spoke truth. You did not know I listened, but that made your words purer." He swallowed. "I said I hated that your engineering was better. You also said it beautifully. That wasn't meant to be beautiful. But it was." She stepped closer, close enough for him to see faint iridescent patterns shifting beneath her skin, tiny constellations that pulsed with emotion. He wondered if she could hear his heartbeat the way her species heard emotional resonance. "If I may be honest," she said, "many humans speak about us with fear, others with envy. But you—" Her eyes glowed brighter. "You spoke with admiration buried inside frustration, praise inside irritation, complexity without deception. That is rare." Marcus cleared his throat. "Avari really care about honesty that much?" "In ways your species finds difficult to imagine." Lysithea lowered her voice. "When you spoke to the processors, I heard no division in your resonance, no lie, no performance. That is why I was compelled to answer." "Compelled?" "Yes. Resonant truth demands acknowledgement. Silence would have been a denial of your sincerity. It would dishonor both of us." He stared at her. Her beauty was already intimidating, but this calm certainty, this sense of cultural gravity, was something else entirely. A chime echoed through the corridor. Lysithea checked her wrist console and her expression changed, slightly but enough to make Marcus's pulse spike. "Your ambassador has summoned you," she said. "They want an immediate explanation." "Great," Marcus muttered. "I get to tell my boss that I accidentally, what? Spiritually bonded myself to an alien princess." Lysithea tilted her head. "That is one interpretation. Is there a version of this that doesn't sound insane?" "No." He pinched the bridge of his nose. "Okay, can you at least tell me exactly what this right means in your society?" Lysithea hesitated. That alone terrified him. Finally she said, "The right of resonant listening is a pre-binding. A recognition. It means my house acknowledges you as someone who has spoken truth worth carrying." "That sounds ceremonial, harmless." "It is not ceremonial." Her voice deepened with harmonic undertones he had only heard once before, when she first invoked the right. "It grants you standing, privileges, protection, and—" She looked away only for a breath. Avari never looked away without reason. "And," he pressed, "it creates relational possibility," she said quietly. "You are now eligible for deeper bonds within my house." Marcus blinked. "That sounds like marriage." "It is adjacent to the concept. Not identical, but adjacent." He nearly fell off the crate. Lysithea stepped forward quickly, steadying him with one hand. Her touch was warm, unexpectedly warm, like starfare contained in human form. "Easy," she murmured. He stared at her hand on his arm. She did not pull away. Lysithea, you barely know me. That is not how resonance works. Her voice softened, carrying an intimacy that made his breath hitch. I heard who you are when you believed no one listened. That is deeper knowing than most achieve in years. They stood there for a moment, closer than diplomacy allowed, closer than Marcus's sanity probably allowed. Then Lysithea released him. You should go, she said. Your ambassador will be impatient. Marcus exhaled, shake. Ambassador Renat Kessler's office was designed to make visitors uncomfortable in a diplomatic. We're disappointed but not surprised. Way. Marcus stood in the center of the room like he was awaiting sentencing. The ambassador watched him over thin-framed glasses, her expression a perfect blend of exhaustion and disbelief. Engineer Hale, she began, I am going to ask you a question, and I need you to answer as clearly as possible. Marcus swallowed. Okay. Did you, or did you not, accidentally activate an Avari pre-bonding ritual with Princess Lysithea Varin? Marcus opened his mouth. No sound came out. Define accidentally, he managed. Kessler closed her eyes, inhaled deeply, and leaned back in her chair. That's what I was afraid of. Commander Hart, head of station security, crossed his arms with the grim seriousness of a man used to dealing with security breaches, not emotional ones. How did it happen, Marcus? He asked. Step by step, slowly, pretend we've never heard of alien space magic. It's not magic, Marcus muttered. It's cultural resonance. Kessler tapped her pen sharply. Explain. So Marcus did. He recounted the maintenance tunnel, his muttering, his unfiltered thoughts, his complaints, his admiration, his comment about Lysithea's grace, Lysithea appearing behind him, the right, the bond. He left out the part where she touched his arm. That part felt private. When he finished, the room was silent. The ambassador stared at him like he'd confessed to hugging a black hole. That's it, she said. That's all it took. Marcus threw his hands up. Apparently sincerity is a hazardous material in Avari culture. Commander Hart rubbed his temples. So let me get this straight. You said she moves gracefully and now you might be culturally engaged. It wasn't a proposal. Marcus protested. It was an unintentional resonance alignment triggering a binding acknowledgement. Hart blinked. Yeah, that sounds like an engagement. Kessler exhaled slowly, switching to her diplomat-facing impending catastrophe tone. Marcus, do you understand what Princess Lysithea's house represents? House Varin is not just any royal line. They are the oldest, the most respected. Their influence spans 12 systems. Marcus's anxiety skyrocketed. And I'm just a maintenance engineer. That's the problem, Kessler replied. A binding ritual involving a human engineer will spark political questions we are not prepared for. Hart nodded. Avari hardliners already think humans are beneath them technologically. If one of their princesses resonates with a human, it challenges their hierarchy, Kessler finished. It undermines centuries of tradition. Marcus felt sick. I didn't mean to do anything. Intent, Kessler said sharply, is irrelevant. Avari rituals are rooted in perception, not design. If she invoked the right, then she believes what she heard from you was profound. Marcus slumped into the nearest seat. I was just fixing pipes. Kessler's voice softened, and she heard truth. It didn't make him feel better. The ambassador opened a holographic file. A swirling Avari sigil appeared, House Varin's crest, elegant, luminous, symmetrical like a starburst. We received a formal message from Princess Lysithea 30 minutes ago, she said. Marcus sat up straight. You did. What did she say? Kessler cleared her throat and read. Marcus Hale has spoken truth in solitude. House Varin acknowledges him. He is to be guided, protected, and prepared for the path ahead. Marcus blinked. That sounds intense. It is, Kessler said. Princess Lysithea is staking part of her political credibility on you. A knock sounded. Kessler looked up. Enter. The door opened, and Lysithea stepped inside. Even in a human-designed office, she looked like she belonged somewhere higher, somewhere brighter. Her presence softened the room's harsh angles. The violet glow in her eyes flared when she saw Marcus. Ambassador Kessler, she said with flawless diplomacy. Commander Hart, I appreciate the swift audience. Then her gaze shifted to Marcus. And you, I am glad you are unharmed. Marcus tried to stand, failed halfway, then awkwardly straightened himself. Hi. Kessler shot him a look that said, please do not embarrass our species, then gestured toward Lysithea. Princess Varin, perhaps you can clarify exactly what this rite means. so we can evaluate the situation appropriately. Lysithea nodded with serene grace. The rite of resonant listening is not romantic in its initial form, she explained. It is a recognition of truth, a declaration that the speaker's unguarded words reflect genuine understanding. Kessler relaxed a little. So it's simply cultural recognition. Lysithea hesitated. Marcus's stomach tightened. He recognized that pause. It is recognition, she said, but it is also possibility. Kessler's pen froze. Possibility of what? Lysithea turned her gaze fully on Marcus. Her voice softened, glowing with harmonic tones humans could only half hear. Resonant bonds begin with truth, and truth can grow. Marcus felt his pulse spike. Heart muttered, "Oh boy." Kessler leaned forward. "Princess, for the sake of clarity, does this rite create political implications?" "Yes," Lysithea answered. "Marcus now holds standing in my house. If he speaks, his words bear weight. If he doubts, the doubt is honored. If he admires." Her eyes flashed. The admiration is carried. Marcus couldn't breathe. Kessler closed her eyes again. "This is worse than I feared." Lysithea stepped closer to Marcus, too close, too warm, too deliberate. "You will not face this alone," she said. "I will guide you through what comes next." "What does come next?" Marcus whispered. Lysithea's expression softened into something almost tender. Marcus had seen intimidating rooms before. Military war rooms, diplomatic briefing halls. The time he'd been called in to explain why a coolant line he repaired exploded in front of 3 ambassadors. None of it compared to the Hall of Echoed Stars. That was the name Lysithea whispered as the doors opened. This is where House Varin hears truth. Marcus felt very poorly dressed for the occasion. The hall was vast, domed, and impossibly elegant. Avari architecture didn't simply curve, it flowed, as though carved from frozen starlight. The floor was a reflective obsidian-like material, casting faint ripples of light with every step. Above, the dome shimmered with shifting constellations that moved to silent rhythms he couldn't hear. He whispered, "This looks like a temple." "It is," Lysithea murmured, "and a court and a memory archive." "Why does everything in your culture multitask?" "Because truth has layers." He groaned internally. "I hate layers." "You will hate today, then." "Comforting." Lysithea stepped closer. "Do not be afraid, Marcus Hale, I am with you." He swallowed hard. She didn't touch him, but the space between them felt charged, as though some invisible thread connected them since the moment the rite took hold. At the far end of the hall, 9 Avari elders waited, seated in crescent formation like a jury carved from moonlight. Their features bore the same alien beauty as Lysithea, but sharpened, refined by centuries of experience. Their robes shimmered with shifting iridescence. Lysithea straightened, back perfectly aligned, expression composed. Marcus tried to do the same. He failed. The central elder, a tall woman with silver-white braids and eyes like amethysts carved from ice, rose. "Princess Lysithea Varin," the elder intoned, voice layered with harmonic resonance. "You have invoked the rite of resonant listening." "Yes, Elder Serath, and you bring before us the human whose words summon the rite." "I do." Marcus tried to bow. It turned into an unfortunate half-nod, half-stumble. Lysithea's hand darted out, steadying him subtly, saving him from face-planting in a sacred chamber. Several elders exchanged looks. Wonderful. He'd already embarrassed humanity. Elder Serath studied him with piercing precision. "You are Marcus Hale." "Yes, Elder," Marcus said, clearing his throat. "Maintenance engineer, low-level, very, very low-level." A few elders tilted their heads. A gesture Marcus had learned meant curiosity. "You do not claim importance," Serath observed. "Because I don't have any," Marcus replied honestly. "I fix pipes badly sometimes." A faint ripple moved through the elders. An emotional vibration Marcus could sense even if he couldn't interpret it. Lysithea's lips curved slightly. Serath continued, "Yet the princess of House Varin invoked a right upon your words. Explain why." Marcus inhaled. He had practiced this. He was still terrified. "Because I spoke honestly," he said slowly. "I didn't think anyone was listening. I was frustrated, tired, and when I'm alone, I talk to myself to organize thoughts." "And what truths did you speak?" Another elder demanded. Marcus looked up at the domed ceiling as if the words might be written there. "I said Avari engineering was elegant," he admitted. "Better than ours. I said humanity has a lot of flaws. That maybe we don't deserve the peace we fight for. I said I noticed how Princess Lysithea moved, that she was graceful. There it was, all of it. laid bare before 9 alien elders who could hear the emotional resonance beneath every syllable. The hall vibrated subtly, like his words were being weighed, measured, tasted. "Princess Lysithea," Elder Sarath asked, "why did these truths compel you?" Lysithea stepped forward. Marcus forgot to breathe. "Because he spoke with unbroken resonance," she said, voice calm but strong. "No contradiction between emotion and word, no deception, no performance." Marcus blinked. "I contradict myself constantly." "Your contradictions were harmonious," Lysithea countered. She addressed the elders again. "He doubted humanity's worthiness while dedicating his life to maintaining the systems that protect both our species. He admired our designs while showing no resentment, and when he noticed me, it was without ulterior intent." Several elders murmured. Sarath leaned forward. "Princess, do you suggest deeper alignment?" The hall went silent. Marcus felt his heart stop. Lysithea hesitated, barely, but Marcus saw it. Her eyes flickered toward him. "In potential," she said, "but potential is not certainty." Marcus exhaled shakily. He hadn't realized he'd been holding his breath. Another elder, older than the rest, spoke with a voice like distant thunder. "Human Marcus Hale, do you understand the magnitude of what your words triggered?" "I'm starting to," Marcus murmured. "Do you regret speaking them?" Marcus looked at Lysithea. Her luminous eyes met his with a mixture of strength and vulnerability, an impossible combination for someone of her rank, her beauty, her power. "No," he said quietly, "I don't regret them." The hall glowed with sudden resonance. The elders visibly reacted. Lysithea's breath caught just enough for him to notice. Elder Sarath's voice deepened. "Then the right stands." Marcus froze. "What does that mean?" "It means," Sarath declared, "you are now fully recognized as a truth-bound witness to House Varin. Your voice holds weight, your doubts hold gravity, and your admiration." Her gaze flicked toward Lysithea. "Holds consequence." Lysithea lowered her head respectfully. Marcus felt the room shift, felt something invisible. They didn't give Marcus time to breathe after the elders' judgment. One moment he was standing beneath a dome of shifting starlight, wondering if he had just agreed to something resembling a cosmic engagement. The next, Lysithea was guiding him, no, pulling him through the crystalline corridors of House Varin's embassy section. His boots echoed sharply against the floor. Her footsteps made no sound at all. "Slow down," Marcus hissed. "My species has friction." Lysithea slowed, though her expression didn't change. "Apologies, I forget." "You forget gravity." "I forget humans." "That's worse." Her lips curved faintly. "Not anymore." Marcus froze mid-step. She kept walking, then realized he'd stopped and turned. Her expression softened in a way he'd only seen once before when she heard him speak alone. "We should not linger in hallways," she said gently. "Avari eyes are already turning toward you." She wasn't exaggerating. Avari citizens passed through the corridors, tall, luminous, elegant beings whose movements resembled dancers more than pedestrians. And every single one of them glanced at Marcus with expressions ranging from fascination to suspicion to something like awe. He felt like a tourist in a cathedral, or an intruder. "Do they know?" he whispered. "Of course," Lysithea said. The elder's decision spread the moment it was made. House Varin does not delay sharing truth. "Great," Marcus muttered. "I've been culturally bound for 5 minutes and I'm already trending." "Trending?" she repeated, sounding amused. "Human term," Marcus said, "means I'm in trouble." "You are not in trouble," Lysithea said firmly. "You are in recognition." "That sounds worse." "It is." Marcus groaned. They reached a wide atrium, open, filled with soft bioluminescent trees whose leaves shimmered like faint auroras. Avari citizens gathered at the edges, pretending to converse but obviously watching him. "Is this normal?" he whispered. "Yes," Lysithea murmured. "They have never seen a human bound by resonance." Her tone held layers again, soft, melodic, unreadable, except for one emotion Marcus could identify, possessiveness. Not romantic, not yet, but present. Lysithea stepped slightly closer, not enough for contact, but enough that any observer would understand she was claiming responsibility for him. "Stay near me," she said quietly. "Your resonance is still fragile." "Fragile," Marcus said, "is a nice way of saying I might panic." "You may," she agreed, "and that is acceptable." "Acceptable to whom?" "To me." Marcus blinked as the meaning hit him. Lysithea rarely used personal pronouns that way. Her people didn't speak emotionally unless it mattered. Before he could reply, 3 Avari approached, 2 women, 1 man, all wearing the shimmering robes of high-ranking citizens. The lead woman bowed to Lysithea. Princess Varin, the council has spoken. The human stands with House Varin. Yes, Lysithea said, and he spoke truth. He did, and he may continue to speak truth. Lysithea's eyes glowed faintly. Yes. The woman turned her gaze on Marcus, studying him like an artifact newly pulled from stardust. You are smaller than expected. That's racist, Marcus whispered. Observation, she corrected calmly, not insult. Lysithea stepped subtly between them. Be cautious, Elder Myra, she said. His resonance is strong, but he is not used to being examined. Myra raised a silver brow. Protective already. Lysithea didn't deny it. Marcus swallowed, hard, then a deeper voice spoke. So this is the human. A taller Avari man approached, broad-shouldered for their species, with deep violet markings down his jaw. His presence shifted the room. Even Marcus could sense it. Lysithea stiffened. Turin, she murmured. Marcus blinked. Friend of yours. No, she said softly. Rival. Turin's eyes flicked between them. The elder's decision was unexpected, he said. A resonance bond with a human unprecedented, risky, unstable. Marcus opened his mouth to protest. Lysithea beat him to it. Truth does not seek permission, Turin, she said. It simply is. And what truth did he speak? Turin asked. That impressed you so deeply. Lysithea stepped forward, face impassive. He spoke doubt without fear, admiration without agenda, honesty without knowledge of an audience. You know how rare that is. A murmur rippled through the small crowd. Turin's jaw tightened. He admired you, did he not? Marcus almost choked. The atrium went quiet. Lysithea's eyes shifted to Marcus, glowing, unreadable. Yes, she said simply. Marcus felt the floor tilt. Turin's eyes narrowed. Then this bond carries more than truth. Lysithea's tone sharpened, cool, precise, dangerous. You presume too much. And you reveal too much, Turin countered. A quiet tension filled the air, Avari tension, which didn't involve raised voices or insults, but harmonic shifts in the air that felt like pressure changes. Marcus stepped forward before he could think better of it. If my words caused trouble, he said quietly, I can clarify I wasn't flirting. I was observing bad habit. Lysithea's eyes snapped to him, not angry, startled. Turin smirked faintly. Honest, at least. Always, Lysithea said. Her gaze never left Marcus. Turin bowed sharply. Then we will see where this truth leads, he said, for House Varin's sake and yours. He walked away. The observers slowly Marcus had never been summoned this urgently in his life. Not by maintenance supervisors, not by diplomats, and definitely not by an entire species, political structure. Yet here he was, walking beside Princess Lysithea Varin through a dim, crystalline corridor leading to her private chambers. Alone. With her. That thought alone might have been terrifying if she weren't also radiating the calm, controlled grace of someone born to navigate cosmic expectation. Why are we going to your chambers? Marcus whispered. Because the council's decision changes everything, she said softly, and you must hear the truth somewhere safe. Somewhere safe from what? From interpretation, she said. From political interference. From those who would twist your resonance into something it is not. And from Turin, Marcus added. Lysithea's jaw tightened. Yes, especially from Turin. They arrived at a tall archway. As the doors slid open, Marcus felt the breath leave his chest. Lysithea's living quarters weren't rooms, they were a sanctuary. The air shimmered faintly, illuminated by bioluminescent vines woven into the walls. A soft, warm glow washed over everything. There was no furniture in the human sense, only flowing crystalline shapes that seemed to shift in response to mood and movement. Lysithea gestured for him to step in. Marcus hesitated. Are you sure this is okay? It must be, she said, because truth cannot be spoken halfway. He entered, the doors sealed behind them with a gentle resonance. Lysithea turned to face him fully, the violet glow in her eyes deepening. The elder's recognition of you carries 3 implications, she began. You must understand all of them. Okay, Marcus said, hit me. First, she said, you now have political standing within House Varin. Your words are treated as reflective of our house's integrity. If you speak doubt about humanity, it becomes our doubt. If you express admiration for Avari, it becomes our honor. Marcus blinked. That sounds huge. It is, she admitted. What's the second implication? Her voice softened. You are now bound to me. Marcus stopped breathing. Bound how? Not romantically, she clarified quickly. but socially, politically, spiritually. Our resonances are linked. I am responsible for guiding you, defending you, and revealing truth with you. Marcus's stomach flipped, and the third implication. Lysithea took a slow breath. Her very breaths were almost melodic. The third, she said quietly, is choice. I don't follow. She stepped closer. Marcus felt heat rise in his chest. Truth-bound witnesses, she explained, are free to strengthen or diminish the bond. You can lean into resonance or withdraw from it, but whatever you choose will set your path permanently. Marcus's voice came out small. What happens if I withdraw? Her expression dimmed in a way he hadn't seen before. Avari will respect your decision, she said. But House Varin will lose the resonance you brought. It will be seen as a fracture, a wound. And if I choose to strengthen it? Her eyes met his fully, intensely. Then the bond grows. Truth deepens, paths intertwine. She paused, and other possibilities open. Marcus's pulse hammered. Lysithea, I'm just a maintenance engineer. You keep saying that, she whispered, stepping closer until there were barely inches between them. But resonance does not care what your profession is. It cares who you are. The air felt electric. Her bioluminescence pulsed in slow waves. Marcus realized he was leaning toward her without noticing. He forced himself to blink. Why me? Because you spoke truth beautifully, she said. Because you admitted doubt without shame. Because you admired without expecting anything in return. Her voice dropped even lower. And because when you looked at me, your resonance shifted. Marcus felt heat bloom in his chest. I didn't mean. You did not intend, she corrected, but you felt there is difference. She turned away for a moment, gathering herself, Princess composure cracking just slightly. Before you decide anything, she said, you should understand what the humans are planning. Humans, Marcus echoed. What are we planning? Her eyes hardened. I received a transmission from Ambassador Kessler. Earth Command is concerned. Concerned how? They believe the right grants Avari influence over you, she said. They fear you might become a political asset for House Varin. Marcus laughed. Me? I can't even influence a busted valve. This is not humorous, Lysithea said sharply. They want to remove you from Unity Station. Marcus froze. What? They are preparing to transfer you back to human territory, she continued, to prevent Avari attachment. Marcus stared at her. They think you're trying to manipulate me. Her voice turned icy. They think you desire me. Marcus nearly choked. I mean, you're objectively, I'm just that's. Her eyebrow lifted. Marcus. Sorry, short-circuited. She stepped toward him, voice low and steady. Your people misunderstand the right. They think it is seduction, control, but resonance has nothing to do with manipulation. A faint warmth touched her words. It is alignment. Marcus swallowed hard, and they want to separate us because of it. Yes. A silence fell between them, charged, fragile, dangerous. Marcus took a slow breath. What do you want me to choose? Lysithea looked at him for a long, quiet moment. Then, in a voice barely above a breath, I want you to stay. Marcus's chest tightened and strengthened the bond. Her glowing eyes flickered with something unmistakable, hope. Yes. The alarm resonance still echoed through Lysithea's chamber when Marcus heard footsteps, sharp, purposeful, approaching fast. Avari footsteps never made sound unless their owner wanted them to. Lysithea moved first, stepping between Marcus and the door with fluid, protective precision. Her bioluminescent markings brightened, an instinctive flare that made her look less like a diplomat and more like a celestial guardian. Stay behind me, she repeated, voice low and unwavering. Marcus didn't argue, he'd never seen her like this. The chamber doors slid open, and Turin strode inside with the authority of someone who believed the entire galaxy should move aside for him. His violet markings burned with harsh brilliance, signaling anger thinly veiled as formality. Princess Lysithea Varin, he said, bowing only the minimum amount required by decorum. I formally invoke the challenge of resonance falsehood. Lysithea's posture went rigid. That challenge is reserved for liars and deceivers. Marcus Hale is neither. Turin's eyes cut toward Marcus, dripping with contempt. You cannot know that, he is human. The way he said human felt like an accusation. Marcus stepped forward automatically, but Lysithea's arm shot out, stopping him. She didn't touch him, but the gesture was unmistakable. Mine to protect, Turin noticed. His jaw tightened. The elders accepted the right, he said, but elders are not infallible. Resonance can be misread when cross-species perception is involved. If his emotional harmonics were misunderstood, the rite collapses. House Varin suffers disgrace. And you would gladly watch that disgrace, Lysithea countered. I would prevent it, Turin snapped back, by exposing instability before it infects the house. Marcus bristled. Instability? I didn't choose any of this. Precisely, Turin said, turning predatory. You spoke thoughtlessly, unguarded, without intention. His voice sharpened. Resonance requires intention. Truth requires sincerity, Lysithea corrected, stepping forward, which he possesses more than any Avari I have met. If the room had gravity before, now it felt like a collapsing star. Turin glared. You overestimate him, and you underestimate truth, she said icily. He spread his hands. Then let the trial decide if his resonance is inconsistent, if his words wobble, if his emotions betray false alignment. You will strip him from my house, Lysithea finished coldly, and return him to his own, permanently. Marcus's chest tightened. Permanent separation. A rift no one could undo. He didn't realize his breath had quickened until Lysithea glanced back at him, just once, and her expression softened for half a second. Marcus, she murmured, you do not have to agree. But if he refuses, Turin cut in, it means he fears the truth. Marcus frowned. You know what? I'm getting real tired of Avari acting like I'm a broken tool. Turin raised a brow. Then prove you are not. Marcus turned to Lysithea again. Can I even pass this trial? I don't know what it is. Her gaze held his with quiet intensity. The trial measures honesty, she said softly. Clarity of emotion, consistency of resonance. You must speak your truth while the council listens, not to your words, but to what lies beneath them. Marcus paled. So, an alien species will listen to my feelings publicly. Yes. And if the resonance sounds wrong, you lose the bond, Lysithea whispered, and I lose you. The last 3 words were barely audible, but for Marcus, they slammed through him like a shockwave. He had no idea what losing him meant to her, but her voice trembled. Lysithea Varin did not tremble. That settled something inside him. He turned to Turin. Fine, I'll do your trial. Lysithea spun toward him. Marcus, he shook his head. I'm tired of being afraid of everything in your culture, tired of being treated like I'm fragile or unworthy. His voice strengthened. I didn't lie when I said your engineering was beautiful. I didn't lie when I said my species screws things up. And I didn't lie when I said you were. He stopped, heat rising to his face. Turin's eyes narrowed. Lysithea's breath caught just slightly. Marcus cleared his throat. Graceful. The word felt too small now, too gentle, too safe, but Lysithea's markings glowed faintly brighter. Turin stepped back. Then the trial begins at once. Wait, Lysithea commanded. A truth-bound witness must have preparation. No, Turin said, relishing the moment. The human accepts now. Marcus swallowed. That's fine. Lysithea turned to him sharply, eyes glowing with alarm. It is not fine, she whispered. Avari resonance trials are overwhelming even for us. They strip away every barrier. If your emotions are unstable, if you doubt yourself even for a moment. He met her gaze. Then tell me how to stand, he said. Tell me how to breathe. Tell me how to... Not be afraid, she finished. He nodded. Her expression softened, then transformed into steel. She stepped behind him, placing her hands lightly, so lightly, on his shoulders. Heat radiated through him. She leaned close, voice brushing his ear like starlight. Then listen, she whispered. When the resonance begins, do not think, do not defend, do not pretend. Speak what you feel, nothing more, nothing less. I can do that, he murmured. I know, she said quietly. That is why I chose you. Turin snorted. Enough, bring him. Lysithea's fingers clenched on Marcus's shoulders for a heartbeat, then released. But her voice followed him as he stepped toward the trial chamber. Marcus. He turned, her eyes bright, violet, aching, held his. Whatever happens, she whispered, do not let him define your truth. Then, and do not let fear hide it. The chamber doors slid open. Light poured out bright, resonant, shimmering with raw emotional energy. The chamber was nothing like the Hall of Echoed Stars. It was smaller, circular, enclosed, and filled with a shimmering mist that pulsed with soft blue light. The walls themselves hummed with resonance, vibrating at a frequency Marcus felt in his ribs more than he heard with his ears. He stood alone on a raised platform, the door behind him sealed with a deep, echoing thrum, and then 9 glowing silhouettes materialized around him, elders projected through harmonic light. Marcus Hale, their layered voices boomed. Speak and be known. Marcus swallowed, His palms were sweating, his heart was racing. He wondered briefly if humans could die from embarrassment under alien scrutiny. A voice cut through the chamber, one he recognized. Turin. "Reveal your emotions, human," Turin demanded. "Let the resonance show who you truly are." Marcus exhaled shakily. "Fine," he muttered. "You want the truth, you'll get it." He forced himself to stand tall. "I'm scared," Marcus said openly. "Right now I'm scared out of my mind." The chamber vibrated, resonance acknowledging honesty. But fear isn't the whole truth. He looked toward where Lysithea would have stood if she were allowed inside. "I spoke what I felt in that maintenance tunnel because nobody was listening. Because I didn't have to perform. Because I could just be." The resonance pulsed brighter. "And yes," he continued, "I said things about humanity. About our flaws, our inconsistencies, our messiness. I stand by all of it." A soft harmonic ripple, agreement. "But that doesn't make me disloyal, it makes me honest." Turin's silhouette flickered with irritation. Marcus's voice strengthened. "I said Avari engineering was better. I still think it is. I admire it. I admire how your technology listens, how your systems flow, how your designs feel like music instead of machinery." A stronger harmonic pulse. "And yes," Marcus said softly, "I noticed Lysithea." The chamber stilled completely. "I wasn't trying to flirt. I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I just saw her. The same way I see everything I work with. Carefully, honestly, with attention." "Silence, and the truth is," Marcus inhaled, trembling. "I've never met anyone, human or Avari, who looks at truth the way she does." A brilliant resonance flare filled the chamber. Turin hissed, "He speaks with emotional instability, he." But the elders cut him off with a harmonic blast that shook the room. "Silence." Marcus blinked. He wasn't sure what he had said that was so powerful. The elders' tones shifted, slow, deep, unified. "We hear no deception. We hear no manipulation. We hear no instability of intent." Then Elder Serath's form brightened. "We hear resonance matched." Marcus frowned, matched. The mist thinned, and suddenly Lysithea was there. Not physically, but her harmonic signature, her emotional tone, shimmered beside his. Marcus felt it like a soft warmth against his chest. She felt strong, steady, and unmistakably aligned with him. Turin's silhouette reeled back. "Impossible, she is outside." "Resonance ignores walls," Serath thundered. "Her truth reaches for his, and his reaches back." Marcus's breath caught. She was reaching for him, emotionally, instinctively, as if afraid he'd be pulled away. The elder's final judgment rang through the chamber. The right stands. The bond strengthens. House Varin recognizes Marcus Hale. The silhouettes vanished. Light faded, the doors opened with a soft exhale. Lysithea was waiting. She didn't walk toward him, she ran. Avari didn't run, Avari glided, but Lysithea ran. "Marcus!" Her voice broke as she reached him. "Are you harmed? Did the resonance overwhelm you? Did Turin?" He didn't let her finish, he didn't even think. He took her hand. Her eyes widened, violet light flaring like a miniature supernova. "I'm okay," he said softly, "because you were right. I just had to speak. No performance, no fear." Her breath trembled. "You strengthened the bond." "Did I?" "Yes," she whispered. "I felt it, every word, every truth." They stood close, too close for diplomacy, too close for politics, but exactly where they belonged. Then Turin stormed into the hallway, fury radiating off him. "This is a mistake," he spat. "A human cannot." Lysithea stepped in front of Marcus, like a shield of living starlight. "The elders have spoken," she said, voice sharp enough to cut. "And I speak as well." She gently squeezed Marcus's hand, Avari intimacy undeniable. "He is bound to me," she declared, "and I to him." Turin froze, shocked. Marcus's heart stopped. "I will mentor him," Lysithea continued. "Guide him, teach him our ways. His resonance aligns with ours by truth, not by accident." Her voice softened, but not with weakness, with choice. Turin's markings